Hey everyone, it's September 17th, and that means that if today's your birthday, you share with mass murderer John List, who murdered his entire family and disappeared before being caught 18 years later. And that is him right over there. List was born in Michigan in 1925 and was raised in a deeply religious Lutheran family. In 1943, he enlisted in the Army and served in the Second World War, being discharged at its conclusion in 1946, after which he attended the University of Michigan, where he earned a master's degree in accounting. Recalled to the Army in 1950 as the Korean War was ramping up, he met a woman whose husband had died overseas and married her, forming a family with his bride and her daughter. He was discharged once again in 1952 and moved to Detroit, where he found work with an accounting firm. In 1960, the family left Michigan for New York when List was offered a position by Xerox, by which time his wife had developed a heavy drinking problem. 5 years later, he took a job at a bank in New Jersey, moving his family into a 19-room Victorian mansion in the town of Westfield. The family had grown to include his wife, their 3 children, and his mother, all of whom lived in the spacious home. List had become increasingly religious over the years as a means of coping with his wife's drinking and the financial pressure he was under, and when he lost his job in 1971, he snapped. On November 9th, List sent the kids off to school, then shot his wife in the back of the head, followed by shooting his mother in her left eye. When 2 of the kids returned home, they were shot in the back of the head. Their remaining son was playing a soccer game, so List drove out to watch him play, then brought him home and shot the boy 10 times. He wrote a letter to his pastor revealing his financial troubles and said that the 70s were a sinful time and that by killing his family he would ensure they ended up in heaven because they wouldn't have a chance to sin. He also wrote notes to relatives to explain what he had done. But this wasn't murder-suicide. He left the notes with the bodies in the ballroom, then drove away to start a new life. The only clue found led to List with the notes in the ballroom. He told friends at his children's school that the family was headed to North Carolina, so it wasn't until a month later that the tragedy was discovered. List's face was summarily plastered all over the news across the country, but he had gotten away clean after a 1-month head start proved too much for detectives, and not much came of the case until 1989. America's Most Wanted was a hugely popular TV show at that time, and they featured the case with a clay sculpture of what List may look like 18 years after his murders. Friends of a man named Robert Clark in Virginia remarked to one another about how much it looked like him. They knew him as a family man with a new bride, living an idyllic life after moving there from Denver. One neighbor called the police, and when they investigated, his fingerprints were found to be an exact match. After initial denials that lasted months, he ultimately came clean and confessed, being sentenced to life in prison where he died in 2008. Robert Blake played him in the 1993 film Judgment Day, the John List story, giving the actor valuable experience in getting away with murder. List also faced some suspicion that he was famed plane hijacker D.B. Cooper, but no evidence has been found to tie him to that crime. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know someone whose birthday it is today, send them this video so they can find out all about their birthday twin. And to John List, I say, happy birthday, you bastard.